All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Hop Butcher for the World, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Blazed Green Relish. So they're calling this one a Citra, Sabro, and Strata-hopped Double IPA that comes in at 8% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review, and this can is just under 1 month old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Hop Butcher for this beer, so big thanks to them. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with, and they sent me 6 unique beers to review this time around, and this was the star of the box in my eyes. Why? Because this is a mashup of their Blazed Orange, which is a Citra and Strata-hopped double IPA, and their Neon Green Relish, which is a Citra and Sabro-hopped double IPA. So they just mashed them together. They kept the Citra, and they took this Sabro from the Neon Green Relish and the Strata from the Blazed Orange, and we have this beer. Didn't look at the tasting notes, but I'm hoping and I'm thinking that they're going to have coconut somewhere on the tasting notes. Why? Because Neon Green Relish was just coconut heavy, and I'm hoping that is the case here because I love coconuts. I love Sabro, definitely top 3 hop for me. A lot of people don't like that hop. If you don't like coconut, I can definitely see why, but for me, I'm all in. All right, so give this a pour here. Do something like that. So just a little bit left in the glass. We'll put it down here, make sure it doesn't go everywhere. And yeah, so that looks beautiful. Has this really nice honey orange, deep murky color to it. Yeah, very turbid, basically opaque. About a finger of this incredibly creamy off-white looking head. It looks beautiful. If I do a little bit of, you can already see that it's going to form probably some really good lacing. It looks beautiful in the glass. Let's get a nose. Okay, so not getting necessarily coconut. What is that? Okay, so this is, so not much coconut in the nose. There's a ton of, and I use this a lot, fleshy, creamy kind of fruits. And usually when I say that, I say honeydew, cantaloupe, papaya, mango. Just think of those fruits, like the creamy aspect of them, like when you're just scooping out like a cantaloupe. Again, I'm not a huge cantaloupe person, but I just like the creaminess. Say honeydew melon, maybe not as creamy, but papaya and mango, I just, the creamy nature that in my mind I kind of get like when you eat them, it just feels creamy to me. Maybe it's not for everybody, but for this guy it is. And I just get that. There's honeydew melon, there's cantaloupe, there's papaya, there's mango. It's overripened, it's sweet, it's sticky. There's a little bit of like orange and tangerine and grapefruit citrus notes for sure. And then there's this really big, like dank, earthy, herbaceous kind of like almost marijuana-esque kind of weed component to it. This is not what I expected. Okay, maybe a little bit of like a slight coconut as I'm kind of swirling it up. Now, with Strata, a lot of times people get like strawberry and like citrus, getting more of the influence of the citrus from the Strata, not as much as like berry. I'm not really getting any berry in here. It smells really good. What I like about this has a balance in the nose. Like it's not just straight on sweet fruit juice with nothing backing it up. There's that dank, herbaceous, earthy kind of tone, and it doesn't smell overly sweet, but it smells really fucking good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Hop Butcher. That's really nice. Here's the thing. Always honest. And I can tell you after the first, let's go second sip, and then I'll say what I was going to say. Because I think I'm going to be in the minority with this one. Let me first off state, this is really good. This is really tasty. I think I set myself up for disappointment because Blazed Orange, I gave a really high score. Neon Green Relish is one of the highest rated double IPAs on my channel. I think I gave it like a 4.7 or 4.75. I think Blazed Orange was in the 4 or 5 range. So I saw the combination of the two. I immediately think this is going to be amazing. It's not amazing. It's really tasty. It's really good. I like those beers separately. After 2 sips, I can safely say I like those beers a little bit better. How much better? We'll see. Let's break this one down. Body and mouthfeel. Body in this one's really, really big. 8%. So typically their double IPAs are 7.5. Sometimes they'll go 8. They actually, in the recent box sent one that was 8.5. So that's interesting. But this is like higher side of medium, lower side of full. Real big body on this one. One of the bigger bodies I've had from one of their double IPAs, honestly. Mouthfeel, super soft, smooth, and creamy. There is carbonation, but it's lightly carbonated. This is like mild to moderately carbonated, so it's a great mouthfeel. Really great body. Body and mouthfeel, fantastic. The taste, I'm kind of struggling a little bit because it wasn't what I anticipated and also didn't carry over from the aroma to the nose to a T like I was thinking and hoping it would. It's a shit ton of citrus. Now, I did get orange and tangerine, a little bit of grapefruit in the nose, but this one's screaming more like zesty and sweet, fresh orange. There's a big juicy component to the citrus characters. There's like pink grapefruit, tangerine, tangelo, orange, a lot of citrus, and it's very juicy up front. Right after that, all that sticky, sweet, creamy fruit that I was talking about, it's there, but it's dialed back probably by like 50%. It's more cantaloupe, a little papaya, mango, not getting as much honeydew. It's right after the citrus hits. I do get a touch of like a underripened strawberry, like almost I want to say like a tart strawberry, middle of the palate. There is a little bit of coconut too, like halfway through with that strawberry, but it's very just in and out. So it's not big, and I'd like more of that. Of course, if you don't like Sabro, then you probably are very happy there's not a lot of coconut here. At least I am not getting a lot of coconut. Maybe I'll watch some other reviews after I post this and see what people think about it, but I'm not getting a ton of coconut like I did in Neon Green Relish. The finish is not quite weed-like it was in the nose, but it has this really dank, earthy, herbaceous, almost like grassy tomato stalk, just big dank earthiness, I would say. Just if we go generic, just go dank earthy. It has this moderate bitterness on the back of the palate, and it's semi-dry. So there is enough of a balance from that dryness and the bitterness to break up the sweetness from the first half of the palate, which is welcomed. Otherwise, this would be too sweet. Shout out to the train going by, because what would a Beer Patrol review be without that train? Although it's been a while since I've actually had it in the middle of a review, but gotta do what you gotta do. One more sip and we'll get a rating, talk about price and availability, and we'll do the tasting notes. Pouring the rest in there, maybe kind of bumped up that orange and tangerine character at the front. A little sweeter, a little more juicy. This is really good. 8%. I got a little bit warming in the chest. Like I can feel it in the chest, on the palate. No, I really like this. I do. It's tasty. It just, and this, you know what this is reminding me of in terms of reviews go? Very akin to the Fat Bear that I reviewed recently from them, which was their, or sorry, not Fat Bear, Coffee Bear, which was their Fat Bear with coffee. Fat Bear was such an iconic pastry stout from them for me, or imperial stout or adjunct imperial stout, whatever you want to call it, that introducing coffee to it, it was still really tasty, really delicious. Just lost a little bit of its luster because I think the coffee brought down the beer for me personally. And that's what's happening with this one. On their own, they can stand on their own 2 feet, the Blazed Orange and the Neon Green Relish. And the Neon Green Relish is up here, the Blazed Orange is here, and then this beer is here. And again, if I didn't know it was a mashup and it was a completely different name, I think I might have, like, in my mind, I would be like, oh, this is really good, and I wouldn't be comparing it. So it might sound like I'm disappointed in this one, and I am from one aspect and from one position, but it's still, let me stress, it's still a really good beer. It's just not to the level of those two. So with that said, let's give Blazed Green Relish a proper rating. All of that for what is going to be a really good rating. So I'm going to give this beer a straight 4.25 out of 5. I think it's a good fucking beer. I do. It's really good. Just not as good as those two beers. We'll do tasting notes, and then we'll go into price and availability. Tasting notes. Juicy orange. So that last little pouring the last couple ounces in, yeah, for sure. This is juicy orange and tangerine, juicy citrus fruits. I said like juicy, sweet. It's yeah, I mean, they nail it. Number 2, dank citrus. Citrus, yes, dank. Do I combine them and say dank citrus? Not really. I think there's enough of a separation from the beginning of the palate where you're getting that citrus character to the end where I'm getting the dankness, and there's other stuff in the middle, other flavors and notes and qualities to the beer breaking up those two characteristics that I wouldn't say dank citrus, but I see where they're coming from. And last but not least, fresh papaya. I did get papaya in here, and I was talking about those fleshy fruits, but I don't necessarily, I think I would go with more like fleshy or sweet cantaloupe or something. I think that's more of a, I'm not necessarily getting 100% papaya. It's in that realm, but I don't think it's exactly papaya. Yeah, maybe. I think tasting notes are fine. Price availability. I think these are $15, $16 a 4-pack in the Chicagoland. If this shows up locally to you and you're in the U.S., you're probably paying $20 a 4-pack. A lot of their double IPAs have shown up here over the past, say, 4 or 5 months. And the ones that have shown up, they're typically in the $18 to $20 range for a 4-pack. So that's fine. Honestly, for something like this, 4.25 out of 5, $20 4-pack's fine. Availability, I review a lot of Hop Butcher, typically 1 to 2 per week. So when it comes to this, I'm just repeating myself, but not everybody's going to watch every Hop Butcher review. But at this point, if you really want Hop Butcher, you can get it, especially if you're here in the U.S. There's web shops like Craft Shack you can get them from. They're showing up in all different kinds of cities and states here in the U.S. Again, locally here in Buffalo, New York, some of their beers have shown up, and there's like a half dozen releases over the last 2 months that I can pick up from them. And it's awesome to see. And they're going to be opening up a couple new facilities in the next, they should have one open soon, and I think the other one later this year. You're going to see a lot more Hop Butcher stuff, hopefully in distribution. And when they do start showing up in your neck of the woods, pick them up. You will not be disappointed. And when I'm sitting here talking about how I'm disappointed in beer and it's a fucking 4.25 out of 5, you know I really like their stuff. And no, it's not because they send it to me. Again, I can pick up their stuff locally. It's because they make really good beer. And in general, their hop-forward beers are fucking dynamite. So not much more to say about this one. If you've had it before, post in the comment section. Did you like this as much as Blazed Orange or Neon Green Relish? Were you a little bit disappointed because of those beers? Did you not care and not like compare them in your mind? When you do a review like this, it's hard to not compare them to those 2 beers, knowing this is a mashup. It's a mashup of those 2 beers. So it's like, it's how it goes. It's how it goes. I don't want to apologize, but I kind of do. But at the end of the day, I gave it a 4.25, and I think it's a really good beer. So let me know what you think about this one. Thanks again to Hop Butcher for this beer. Thanks again to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. 8%. Like I said, you can feel a little bit in the chest, not so much on the palate, and I'm all about that. It's the next one. Cheers.